So, welcoming you into this session, which originally was titled 432 Hertz Music and its Healing Power. But the conversation expanded as I spoke to Torkom. And by the way, he wishes he could have been here. He double booked himself and didn't notice until the other day. And so had to surrender to it. But he has left music for us. And I will now lead you in some practices while allowing that music to affect us. But I'd like to bring you some news first about music itself. Many of you don't know, but I am a degreed musician. I have a bachelor's in music, in voice particularly. I taught singing for 13 years of my life, and one of my students, top 5 American Idol. Woohoo! And so, and so my music is a big part of my life, and I was quite a musical nerd about tuning. Tuning. You see, there is a system of tuning that has been utilized for much of our probably all of our lives, but goes way back to what was changed into what is called equal temperament at 440. Now, if you're a musician, you know what I mean. One of the notes on the scale, A, is tuned to 440. When you're playing with a group, when you're playing with a symphony, they'll tune A to what's called 440 hertz. That's a cycle of vibration measured specifically. When you turn on what's called a tuner, these days we have electronic tuners, it produces the tone, and they set their instrument tuned to that 440. Now, there is some conspiracy theory stuff around this saying, it was set there to affect humanity in a negative way. Very possible. But I would like to think of it in an even larger, more expansive way and understand the truth of the fact that Johann Sebastian Bach and those like him, way back composers, they would tune to 438, they would tune to 432, they would tune around in different places and wouldn't necessarily place A where we do today. Well, that got some musicians' ears fired up when they realized that, wait a minute, we're tuning to 440 because that's what we learned. But what about other musicians in the history of music? Creating sound healing would eventually evolve into this study, into the study of vibrations and their micro tunings and how they would affect us. So 432 has become popular. Equal temperament, 432, meaning you set the A at 432, you tune it, and then you set everything above it in an equal temperament, meaning there's an equal distance between the notes all the way up. When this happened and people started to tune in 432 more often, people found that it was feeling differently. The music was connecting to us in a different way. This then opened up even more conversation about, well, wait a minute, which part of this is airy-fairy and not actually grounded in some science, and what is? And that's one thing I love about my brother Torkom and his music. He's developed something called quantum, I'll have to get the second word in a second, quantum harmonics. Quantum harmonics is utilizing a very specific way of firing off different notes at particular hertz settings. One of the things he's using is 40 hertz, for example, and the power of 40 hertz. Now I'll tell you, the most advanced stuff that I've developed, breathwork-wise, is happening right now. And as a certified personal trainer, I found myself standing on a vibrating plate at the gym. Perhaps you've been to a place where they have these vibrating plates. Perhaps you've been to the gym and you've been on one. Long story short, I had my headphones and I had just mixed a gong session with someone. And with the gong on my ears and the 40 hertz vibrating mechanically under my feet, I realized that not only could I use the sound healing capability of the mechanical 40 hertz vibrating under my feet, I could listen to the tone that would then fill the symphony that is, fill me in my inner symphony with it, and I could hum a third tone that would harmonize with it. In that way, you become a bell. You become a vibrating resonant space with a two modes or three modes of vibration. So this is something I'm still developing, but the reason I bring it up to you is vibrations affect us. And thank God, thank the divine, we've blasted out from 440, because this concept of A equals 440 is limited. It is very limited. But when we blast out and we start getting interested in different frequencies, we find that there are frequencies that affect us that are not inside of the usual C to C. When we play a scale and it's tuned, there's more to it. And the Indians knew. Oh, give it up to the amazing music of India. Why? Because you see, if you asked Indian musicians to play what they call a rag, it is particular improvisation, they would play a morning rag or an evening rag, and the tuning would be different. And if you asked why, they would tell you, we tuned to the birds. Oh, let this hit that feeling we had in the forest just minutes ago. That just as we were tuning in with our beings, and with what we do know is we look at a green tree or we look at an ancestor tree and we breathe, that the Indian musicians would tune to the birds and they would play the morning raga, they would play the morning music. They would tune to the evening birds differently because they were singing differently. Now you see what the human was doing in interest of sound healing. They were reaching in to nature to find the tunings that would move us. Oh, it's so beautiful if you stop to look at it. And so the invitation here is for us now to use technology to find what tones, what healing frequencies, what tunings affect us most, and keep it. Don't lose it. Share it. And so the beauty of the musicians that I'm watching in my community that are developing these things, very, very powerful, immediately powerful, because they are shifting things that you're used to listening to in 440, in the old style of tuning, which, by the way, not to take away from it, music in 440 still moves us. But when you start to find out there's more to it, oh, the frequencies of the morning raga, the frequencies of the evening birds, you now have blasted open the idea of music being encompassing all sounds that may affect me. Oh, as I go out into nature, I'm listening and I'm letting it affect me as I breathe. And so it's an exciting time. And I wanted Torkom to come and play for us today, but he, like I said, he prepared a nice piece of music for us, and he has a portal. I wanted to make sure breath workers know about this, because you're always looking for music that doesn't have license. And so he keeps a original music portal going, where there's constantly music available for you. I'll share that at the end if that's something that supports your practice. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you. We're gonna pop on Torkom's music, and I'm going to invite you to turn up what you got there as far as speakers, And we're going to begin by just feeling. He ramps up slowly. So we're going to let this fill our space. We're going to let it play, and we're going to let it fill us, let it affect us before I speak anything into the space. Probably a 5-minute ramp up. Feel free to do any of your own practices that you know and love. But I'm going to take us into one of my favorite practices that deepens meditation. This practice deepened my meditation quickly, like no other. All of my students are able to pop into meditation in 9 breaths. And the reason for that is because we work this technique. I studied with Wim Hof 12 years ago when he first came to Los Angeles, way before the big hoopla. And this technique was inspired by his work. And so we are going to, I'll express the what we're going to do. And after putting the music on, we let the music just shower us. We allow the music to fill the space. And once we get to a place there, I will invite us into this technique. What we're going to do, there's 3 parts to this technique. The first part, we're using the lungs as a pump. Now, for those of you that have only done very gentle breath work, I'm inviting you to allow yourself to hear your breathing. One of the yogis in a forest that I studied with when I was in India brought up this concept that when you don't hear your breath, you're not able to use the aerodynamics. There's an aerodynamic quality to when you hear your breath. And as you hear your breath and you track your breath, inhaling through the nose and out by blowing, you're going to seek to make your inhaling and your exhaling relatively even so that we may inhale, blowing out the mouth, breathing in, blowing out. And what will happen is we're going to speed that until we get to what I call pump pace, and we're going to pump it. Don't over exhale or over inhale. If they're not balanced, you'll sense going off balance rather quickly. Keep them even. And we're going to pump. I'll let you know when we're going to stop with the pump because I'll clap and I'll count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of us pumping in through the nose, out by blowing, in through the nose, out by blowing. When we hit 1, I'll say take that last breath in, exhale, hold it out. We'll hold the air out and we will stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. We'll then breathe in, hold it in. We'll stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. And then we'll exhale a final breath, and that's round 1. I'm going to run you through 3 rounds, I believe. Let's go ahead and get the music going and see. Let's see here, make sure you guys are able to hear. And it starts off extremely soft, so I actually need to make sure it's playing. Just one moment here. So as the music comes on, allow yourself Can you hear it? Everyone can hear? Okay, cool. Now I can let it ride. All right, everyone. Just allow it to wash over you and feel. As you allow the music to vibrate your body temple, I invite you to open the eyes and join me. Breathing in the set of breath, blow it out. Breathing in. Five, 4, 3, 2. Breathe it in, blow it out, hold it out. Hold it out. If your hands are out in front, bounce them. You'll feel chi from your palms to the ground. It's a tingle. Breathe it in, hold it in. Hold it in. Hold it. Life force building up the spine. Blow it out. Drop the arms. Close the eyes and see if you're already in meditation. If you are, be delighted. This is an expressway I'm showing you. Be delighted because consciousness wants to play with you. Open the eye petals back open and re-enter. Okay, now if you're used to breathing only slower than this, I invite you into a slightly faster pace. We're going to take it a slightly faster even though the music is at a pace of slowness. Join me, see if you can join at my pace. Here we go, breathing in, we're going to speed up. Blow it out. Here we go, and 5, 4, 3, 2. Breathe it in, blow it out, hold it out. Hold it out. Bounce the palms. Feel if the palms are tingling. That's chi from your palms to the ground. Breathe it in. Hold it in. Hold it. Feel chi building up, 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 up. Blow it out long. And when I say blow, it's like blowing out a birthday cake. It's not, it's, try it again now. Breathe in. Blow out long. Close the eyes again and feel. If you're in meditation, allow the sound to shower over you. Perhaps you're noticing that this isn't tuned to the usual. That our brother musically under the hood has dialed something in that's affecting us. Enjoy that. I'm going to do one last round so we don't push into the next session, but I promised you 3 rounds. Let's feel it. Open the eye petals to the outer world. Check in with the posture. Again, we're breathing in through the nose, mouth closed. We're blowing like a birthday cake, and we're doing it evenly. Here we go. Check in with the posture. Breathe it in slightly. Blow the air out. Here we go, and 5, 4, 3, 2, slow it down. Last one, breathe it in, blow it out, hold it out. Bounce the palms, feel the chi. Hold it out. Breathe it in, hold it in. Drop the shoulders, hold it in. And blow it out. And feel as I fade the music out, what has just washed over you? What did we just get? I'll tell you one, I'll give you a hint. See if you can feel for it. Feel that your posture is being held up without muscles. Can I get a hand in the air if anybody feels that? Your posture is being held up without your back muscles being used in any accented way. Your body is a bit of levitating going on. And so I'm going to bring this part of this particular session now to a close as you simply feel what was just different about the music. Was it the tuning? The loveliness of the technique we got to drop in? Take that with you. And blessings to Torkomji, wherever he is, brother. How fabulous to get to share with you one of my dear friends and fellow musicians. Did that feel good, everyone? Can I get a ah? Ah.
We have a question in the chat.
Yes,
What
please.
the technique is called again?
So that technique I call activator within the life force mastery, which is the modality I teach. When Wim Hof was first teaching Wim Hof method, he also used an inhale through the nose and an out by blowing. He has since evolved it and changed it around. It inspired me in its original form. I have 5 techniques based on this one. And so come play with me. My information will be left in the chat, and so will Torkomji's. Torkom has a portal called Quantum Harmonics. He has a $25 a month or a $45 a month subscription for you to be able to have this style of music that is 432 hertz and then some.